Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 5 of the F224 Andrea Kimi Antonelli career mode. Yes, we're back once again here in the duel in the Formula 2 crown. We're back for the Monaco Grand Prix feature race. 25 points available to us this weekend, but once again we are starting a little bit further down the order than we would want. If you missed out on yesterday's video, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We learned a lot about the car, about what we need to be doing around this circuit as well. So fingers crossed today we can try and have an even better result, of course. But just going to have to roll the dice with the strategy. Safety cars could be race defining here as well. But yeah, let's head out down onto the circuit and hopefully we can walk away with some points.
Welcome to one of, if not the most iconic race circuit in Formula 2. A track with absolutely no room for error, a track that requires every bit of skill these young drivers can muster. We're getting ready for lights out here in Monte Carlo. The Circuit de Monaco is, for all practical purposes, pretty much unchanged since its 1929 introduction. It's strange to consider, but this 2.1 mile lap will take the drivers here around almost an entire country. 19 corners, but not that many opportunities for overtaking. Instead, this is a track that rewards technical skill. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race.
Franco Colapinto lines up on pole position.
And it's Ollie Bearman in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Crawford, Hajar, Gabriel Bortoletto, Maloney, Aaron, Miata, Pepe Marti, Juan Manuel Correa, Cordial, Martins,
Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Zach O'Sullivan,
Hauger, Miney,
Barnard,
Enzo Fittipaldi,
Villa Gomez,
Stanek, and Richard Verschoor completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track.
Right, this track needs a lot of downforce, so it won't have as much top speed. The good news though is that it's going to make our DRS even more effective than normal. Try to make the most of it in the race and quali if you can.
Right, well here we are then down on the grid, ready for the feature race here from Monaco. And I want to try and ideally start this race on the super soft tyres, but I don't believe the game's going to let me, which is very, very stupid. If for some reason sometimes on this game it just forces you onto a certain strategy and won't even let you kind of move it around. I wish there was the option for a custom strategy that you can kind of set up from the ground up like you get on F1 Manager. But this is F124 and things like that have been broken for years still never seem to get fixed. There's going to be a mad dash to make the switch later on in the race. It's 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out, and away we go then for the Monaco GP feature race there. This time round, we will get to the inside of Victor Martins before we get into turn 1. And we spent a lot of time yesterday trying to get around Amaury Cordial. I'm going to try and deal with him as soon as possible as well as we head into the feature race up the hill in towards turn 2. Let's try and see if we can go the long way around of the Belgian driver there. We'll have the inside line ready for turn 3, and there we go. We'll make it through then, maybe even down the inside of Pepe Marti as well, who of course, rather oddly, has ended up being one of my big championship rivals there. We've got to try and get the long way around though, as we go side by side down through the hairpin. Easy does it with the turbo spool on the exit there, but we will get down the inside finally through Portier. And for the second race this weekend then, we made up some spots off the start there. This time around we will immediately promote ourselves up into the points. So yeah, really, really happy with that one, as I don't believe Ollie Bearman has got himself to the front of the order. Yes, he has, sorry. So Ollie Bearman straight to the lead of the race. We've got yellows out. I think that's a car behind us. Amaury Cordial's gone, and we've got a red flag. What on earth has happened to Cordial? Well, Amaury Cordial then already lost the place to myself off the start of this one, and looks to be going side by side with one of the, I think that might be Victor Martins in the ART car as we make our way down in towards the chicane there. Just tips it in, nudges the wall on the way through, slaps the wall on the way out there, and well, the camera angle met with a face full of barrier and a roadblock created on lap 1. That explains why we ended up with a red flag. Well, we could theoretically now try and opt for 2 sets of the super soft tyres and go to the end of the GP. That would certainly be a brave strategy, but maybe if we could have the extra grip, we could try and make it work. I reckon we want to try and go for that. Although I don't know whether the super softs, I don't know, obviously, because you've got to do a certain amount of laps on the soft compound tyre, it might well be that our second stint we have to go back the other way again. So this is going to be a big gamble, but we've got to try and do something different. As everybody else still on the softs, it's going to be 5 red lights again. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go there. And this time around, we definitely need to get a better start than the AI. So trying to have a look around the outside of Correa and Rotomo Miata down at that first corner. And there we go, another couple of spots gained then off the start there. So 5 places made up between the first and the second restart. We might be able to get down the inside of World Championship leader in Paul Aaron as well. That would be quite a critical move for the bigger picture there as well. Banging wheels just slightly with our second high-tech of the weekend. Aaron's there is going to open up a window for himself down the inside of Zane Maloney. And these two now are going to go side by side right the way through the hairpin. Who's going to come out on top of that one? I think Paul Aaron down the inside is surely going to be able to make this one work. He's still got Maloney though around his outside. And the Rodin Carlin driver there just kind of forced to back out of it in the end. That'll open up the window for us. So both myself and our championship leader Estonian are going to be able to get past the Barbados boy. And there we go. We move up into P7 then early on in this race.
Dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past.
Well, it is looking very, very overcast around these Monte Carlo streets, but hopefully that isn't going to be too much of a concern. There is down the inside. Second time again this weekend we've tried to go down the inside of a high-tech there. That time around, though, we'll pull it off as Paul Aaron, I don't think, will be too happy with that move, but as Ollie Behrman leads the way then by the end of lap 1, we are up to 6th place, and like I said, we've got to utilise these super soft tyres, make the switch back to the softs later on, and then I think the final few laps are going to be all about parking the bus. But we've got to try and utilise this super soft tyre early on in the race just to try and see if we can claim fastest lap bonus point. It is a very odd feeling for the first time this weekend to actually feel like we have got the upper hand on the AI, and hopefully, yeah, we're going to be able to have a look for a move on Isaac Hajar pretty soon. But already, these super soft tyres just sliding around a little bit. They will not last long in this Grand Prix. I think if we can get into about at lap 8 or so, then I'll be quite happy. And then we'll move over to the softs and try and take them to the end. So, yeah, I think even if we wanted to, double super softing this race wouldn't actually be that quick. And, yeah, might end up being slower. And, of course, I don't want to get disqualified. See, closing in on Isaac Hajar as we make our way up through the top of the hill once again. Up over the bump we go. And we have a bit of a sniff down the inside there. Hajar, I think, yeah, he was perfectly within his right to try and slam the door in my face on that one. And, well, we've got to try and look for it, of course. But, yeah, I think actually, I got it wrong yesterday. I reckon our best shot at making moves is actually down in towards Larascas, which is admittedly quite audacious, but we'll try and see if we can go for a move on the Frenchman, of course. P2 in the IRL F2 Championship. Still got a little while longer to wait before the final couple of rounds of the season out in Qatar and obviously Abu Dhabi with the season finale. But as we make our way then through this final sector, are we going to be able to try and get the run on Isaac Hajar? We'll have a look down the inside. He will just about jump out of the way there. A little bit of wheel banging on the way in. And again, the AI through those 2 slowest corners of the lap just seem to be able to put the power down so much easier than I can. They've got built-in traction control, but it doesn't seem to cost him anything, as we'll just nick the wall. Paul Aaron will try and have a look up the hill.
Front wing is going to need replacing if it takes too much damage.
Yeah, we picked up a little bit of front wing damage yesterday as well. It takes quite a lot to really notice a difference in these F2 cars. Well, I tell you what, these tyres already starting to feel a little bit dead in comparison to the AI soft. So I think end of next lap, we're going to try and dive into the pit lane. I mean, we're able to just about keep up with Isaac Hajar at the moment, as once again, we will only just claim the DRS, but yeah, these super softs, they're not as good as I thought they would be. The soft compound tyres yesterday lasted pretty well through the 15 laps here. I mean, it's not a track that obviously you don't put much speed through them.
Well done.
But of course, yeah, there are a lot of traction zones here in Monaco as well, so that's normally the balancing act. But you can see, yeah, rear tyre wear, it's not looking horrendous. certainly in these F2 cars, worn tyres do handle very, very differently to what I'm used to in Formula 1. So yeah, I think we're gonna peel in the end of this lap and try and get our undercut. Well, annoyingly, this lap the tyres have actually seemingly come back into the window a little bit more again, so we've actually closed in quite well on Isaac Hadjar. Maybe it's me, maybe it's just the AI starting to struggle a little bit more on their tyres as well. But either way, we are still going to peel in. As all we only just get the car slowed down there as the team rush out into the pit lane. Hopefully we'll get a nice, clean, tidy stop down at Prima. I mean, 4 seconds isn't bad as...
Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
Well, there we go. Rafael Villagomez still yet to score a point this year. Don't think that's going to happen today, especially with that 5-second penalty. But how far behind Vashaw are we going to be then? Oh, nice and easy. We're going to be about 6 seconds, I believe, out behind the Trident driver. About 7 seconds back. So if we could close that gap down before he pits, we could still undercut right towards the front. And yeah, these technically are a used set of tyres, but they are the ones we only used on lap 1. While trying to just dance the car through the barriers here. Got to be gentle as we bring them up to pace there. But already you can see that gap to Vashaw down to just 6 seconds here. I'm not convinced we'll undercut right to the front. But hopefully, yeah, we'll get a little bit closer to Wally Behrman there. Maybe jump Hadjar and a couple of other runners. You know, we are still thinking bigger picture in the championship. I mean, I'd love the full 25 points here, of course, but we just want to slowly get back into the routine of points without fail. I mean, the worst thing for us now would be a safety car. As soon as I say that, we got yellow flags out for someone. We've got a safety car now. Would be in big trouble, as I don't know who that is falling down the order, but please don't take anyone with you. There's all the other AI trying to wiggle their way through. I don't know whether they risk it now and go super softs to the end. As it is Zane Maloney scored his first points of the season yesterday and looks like he is going to be out of the feature race today. Is that going to bring out a safety car though, as that is a big plume of smoke at the back of that car? But luckily, I think this time round we've got a bit lucky in this game. It doesn't happen often, but luck has been on our side. No safety car, so we can continue on. Just starting to get a little bit concerned then as we start lap 14 here. No sign still that the AI are going to peel into the pit lane, but we have closed in on Richard Vashaw. He hasn't cost me any lap time yet, but yeah, I mean, to be fair, our lap time's still fairly consistent, and I'm staggered that our 19.9 is still fastest on the board. I was hoping I'd go quicker than that, but doesn't seem to be the case here. As are we finally going to see Ollie Behrman into the pits at the end of this lap? I mean, 2/3 distance on the softs. Yes, we are. So Ollie Behrman then immediately into the pit lane. Hopefully our teammate won't get badly held up by any other car. That is the one other thing that we have to consider a lot down at Prima over the course of the season. But as we round our way then through the final couple of corners, will it be Vashaw? Will it be Stanek into the pits down at Trident? It's going to be Stanek. So we've still got to try and make our way around the Dutchman this lap. As where is Ollie Behrman going to be when he makes his way back out to the circuit? There is our teammate. So Behrman's got the jump still on absolutely everybody else, and he's stayed ahead of me. But obviously he's going to have to try and get those tyres up to temperature this lap. And look at Richard Vashaw potentially trying to line up a move as well on our British teammate there. Azor wanted to try and potentially have a look around the outside of Richard, but not run into the back of him. As I think that will mean Ollie Behrman probably is going to win this race. Well, this is going to give Behrman a huge boost in the championship as well, and back-to-back feature race victories would be a rather impressive feat as well there, as Vashaw then into the pit lane. So Prima, we are going to clarify this then. We are 1 and 2 in this Grand Prix as Franco Colapinto makes his way out. We are definitely going to have our work cut out though towards the end of the afternoon, as Colapinto is going to still be out in the podium places there. Jack Crawford down in P4. But how bizarre is this going to be then? If Behrman can convert this, we're going to have identical winners to last weekend in exactly the same races as well. And there we go. Behrman has just smashed my fastest lap bonus point then. So a 1:18.8 for our teammates. So that's how much quicker the AI are likely going to be going towards the end of this one. I am expecting in the last couple of laps for their tyres to just start falling off a little bit. But yeah, we've got Colapinto, Crawford, Bortoletto all queuing up behind us want to try and find a way through. I mean, Behrman's won this, like I said, unless he has a mechanical failure. I don't see a way in which this goes wrong for him now. But can we defend and bag Prema a 1-2 finish? The 1-2 finish that we should have had all the way back in Jeddah. Well, effectively now, with Amaury Cordial out of this Grand Prix, I am the new Amaury Cordial towards the end of the afternoon. He slowed us down so much yesterday. Although, again, I'm not really sure we would have been able to make many more places up. But just 2 laps to go, and at the front of the field, our teammate Ollie Behrman's still very happy out in front, building up his lead. But, yeah, we've just got to try. I mean, qualifying is our only real weakness in these cars still. The AI are so good over 1 lap in this series. We've definitely got the pace when it comes to races. I think we definitely set up the car a little bit more to try and benefit us in that way. And on weekends like this where you can try and roll the dice with the tyre, it works out quite nicely. But other weekends, like we saw at Imola, for example, you just can't really do anything. To make our way through Larascas then for the penultimate time in this race. Ollie Behrman at the front of the order. That gap has pretty much just stabilised now, but what a day it has been once again for our teammate there. Early on in the season, it really did feel like we had the better of him. And through those first few rounds, we were able to build up a bit of a buffer. But feature race wins are worth so much in FIA Formula 2. You know, the fact that you get the same amount of points margin over P2 in a feature race as you would from about P1 and P6 in a sprint race in this series. It really does emphasise still that Sunday afternoon is where you got to try and deliver there. And for Ollie Behrman this weekend, for back-to-back weekends, he has absolutely been the driver to deliver, making his way through these famous streets. Of course, yeah, we haven't really been able to hold a candlelight to him. And I think even if we had got ahead of him, it would have been very, very difficult to try and hold him up towards the end of the afternoon. But Prema as well, we had a difficult weekend last time out. I was a bit worried after qualifying that this would be more of the same here, but yeah, luckily for us, to go from 13th on the grid to P2 in the end will mean that we reclaim the Constructors' Championship lead as well. Ollie Behrman at the final corner is a Monaco feature race winner in FIA Formula 2, and we come through to make it a Prema 1-2.
He's made it all the way to the top step of the podium. Ollie Behrman takes the checkered flag.
Well, they're leading the standings, and that's why. Driving without pressure, driving at the front of the field, driving with excellence.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema.
Well, there we go then. When we have a look at the total combined points from the weekend, I think we can be pretty happy with how us and the team got on there. We ended up being the second highest point scorer behind our teammate. Like I said, it just goes to show you how much of an emphasis is put on scoring those points in the feature race there. But taking a look at our final race results, I'm sure Colapinto from the pole a little bit gutted to end up down in P3 there. Crawford in 4th ahead of Bortolesso, Hajar, Aaron, Miata, Marti, and Victor Martin's able to get up into the points as well there. I believe it was just, yeah, Zane Maloney and Amaury Cordial that failed to see the checkered flag. And shout out to Roman Stanek as well, who made up quite a few spots by the end of the afternoon as well there. Rafael Villagomez as well actually would have done quite a good job had he not picked up that penalty as well. But what is that going to do to our championship standings? Well, it means Ollie Behrman now 1 point clear at the top of the table. Paul Aaron still sat in that second place there with Bortoletto just 6 points back. We give ourselves a little bit of safety once more, up in P4, ahead of Colapinto and the two Campos cars there, with O'Sullivan, Vershaw and Cordeal still inside your top 10 overall. And I believe it is still just those two drivers of Barnard and Villagomez yet to score a point. Prema as well, we build up a healthy buffer of 37 at the top of the table as well there, after a perfect point scoring feature race to cap off the Monaco weekend. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 2 returns ready in, I believe, Barcelona.